Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Herbert Finner. I want to welcome you to Put Me in Coach podcast and YouTube channel. Yes. Today is a great day. And once again, I want to welcome you to Put Me in Coach YouTube channel and podcast. At Put Me in Coach, we believe in one thing, and we believe, my friend, that your dreams matter. We believe that it is your life story and that you, my friend, you can rewrite it if you want to. I know that there are many of you out there, like to myself, life has had its ups and downs, life has had its challenges, and there are times where, we get stuck. There are times where we find ourselves, in a place of obscurity. There's times when we find ourselves in a place where we just don't know which way to go. Sometimes we get confused about, our identity. Sometimes we get confused about our purpose. We get confused about our why. And that's one of the reasons why I created this channel. I created this channel because I want to come alongside and help you to understand your why. I want to come alongside to help encourage you, inspire you, and give you tools that I know that will add value to you. I want to come alongside you and inspire you and remind you, every chance that I get, that it is your life story and that you, my friend, you can rewrite it, if you want to. When I look back at my life, I look at, some of the choices that I made, when I was a youth, and choices that landed me in a place of obscurity, choices that put me in prison, for a very long time. I was in, a dark place, with an ugly problem, 19 years old, sentenced to 17, and a half years as federal prison, 17 years of being taken away, from my family, 17 years of my freedom being taken away from me. But to be honest with you, that was probably, the best 17 years of my life because it was in that place of darkness, where I found light. It was in that place of darkness where I found hope. It was in that place of darkness where I actually found myself. Just thinking about, when I was young, like many young people, we do a lot of things, we're daredevils. People dare us to do things and we do it. And we know that now that there are consequences to being a daredevil. There are consequences, to making poor choices. And as a result of some of the choices that I made, I ended up in prison. And it was there where I asked, a very important question. And I continue to ask that question today because I believe that it's a question that you will have to ask, throughout a lifetime. And that question that I asked myself was, who am I? Who am I? And the reality was I didn't know who I was. Yes, I didn't know who I was. I was, 19 years old, going on 20 years old. Once again, I had 17 years in prison. I was a high school dropout. I didn't really have anything to look forward to. I had broken my mother's heart. I had abandoned everything. I didn't have any dreams. I didn't have any aspirations. Everything that I thought I was, I realized that I wasn't. And for the first time in my life as a man, I remember crying. Could you imagine, spending 19 years with you every day, 365 days a year, and you not know who you are? And you not know, what your purpose is in life. You not know what you've been called to do. So I spent 19 years just trying things, like experimenting, with my life, something that I didn't understand at the time that was valuable. I spent 19 years like the prodigal son going out and doing me. And I know that many of you can relate to this, doing you. And as a result of doing me, I started attracting all these things that was taking me further and further away from my purpose. And doing me, I started meeting people, that wasn't really, the best people to meet as it pertains to where I should have been going in my life. I was making a lot of poor choices, a lot of bad decisions, just like that prodigal son did. because I thought I was grown. I thought I was mature, and I wanted to get out on my own. I wanted to follow the crowd. I wanted to follow the leader, the people that I was following. Yes, they were leaders, but they wasn't good leaders. They was leaders who was leading people to penitentiaries and leading people to early graves. And not only was I following, people who were leading me to those places, I became a leader. And I started leading people to the penitentiary and to early grave. Yes, became that type of leader because I was that type of follower. But while I was in prison, I was confronted with that question, who am I? And I didn't understand, who I was. I didn't understand my purpose. I didn't understand that I had something good in me. All I remember is when I was young, when I was a child, and my mother used to always tell me how special I was, how gifted I was, how blessed I was, how God was watching over me. And I believed it somewhat, but I couldn't really wrap my head around it at that young age. So I really didn't understand how important, life was. I didn't really understand that I was fearfully and I was wonderfully made. I didn't understand that I had purpose because I really didn't have mentors. I really didn't have a father figure in my life growing up that showed me what it was to be a man and to show me what it was to be responsible. I really didn't have that like many of my friends. So we followed each other. And we followed each other to obscure places. We followed each other to places that got us into trouble, places that landed us in prison. And for many, and some of my friends, places that landed many of them into the grave. So I had to change something in order for something to change. And what I had to change was me. And before I can change me, I had to first understand who was I? Who am I? What is my purpose? And it was God who revealed it to me. It was God who showed me who I was. It was God who allowed me to know that I had purpose. It was God who allowed me to know that despite being a prodigal son, despite being a son who was lost, you are now found. Despite being the son who was dead, you are alive again. Despite being the son who was rebellious and broken, he said, you know what? I still love you. I still care for you. He said, because you, my son, you're still unique. You're still unique. You're still perfect in my eyes. I still love you. I still care about you. And despite, what you've been through, your significance, it still remains. I oftentimes like to tell a story, about $100 bill. One time I was doing, a conference and I had $100 bill and I raised it in the air and I said, who want this $100 bill? And of course, everybody's hand went up. Then I took that same $100 bill and I balled it up and I said, who want this $100 bill? And of course, their hand still went up. Then I took that same $100 bill and I threw it on the ground and I stomped on it and I raised it back up and I said, who want this $100 bill? And everybody's hands still went up. But I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised because I understood, as well as everyone else that was in attendance, that despite what I did to that $100 bill, regardless of what I did to it, it didn't matter me stepping on it and balling it up. Regardless of what I did to that $100 bill, it didn't lose its value. Its significance, it still remained. And that's what this podcast is about. Yes, that's what this podcast is about. It's about reminding you, my friend, that your significance, it still remains. Regardless of you being dragged in the mud, just regardless of you being put down and let down, regardless of you being broken, regardless of the choices that you made that put you in some obscure places, regardless, your significance it still remains. Regardless of you being broken, regardless of you being hurt, your significance it still remains. Therefore, since your significance still remains, God said, I still have a robe for you. He said, that's still a celebration for you because you're no longer lost. You've been found. You're no longer dead. You are alive again. And I love that word again. Meaning that if you are alive again, that means that you were alive before. That means that you had purpose before you died. That means you had purpose and significance before you made the choices that you made that led to your spiritual and your moral death. You are alive again. Meaning that God is a God of restoration. And he's going to restore you like he restored me. After spending 16 years on 17 and a half years, God restored me. When I went to prison, I didn't have anything but time. But when I came out of prison, I had everything that I need that pertained to life and godliness. When I came out of prison, I was clothed in my right mind because of that question that I asked, who am I? And not knowing, I waited for the answer. And if you are that individual who don't know who you are, and you're living a life of uncertainty, you're living a life without meaning, you're living a life without purpose, then I would encourage you to ask that question right now, who am I? Who am I? And wait for the answer. Because everything that they told you you was, you're not. Especially if the thing that they told you, if it's not adding value to you. Especially if the thing that they told you, if it's not making you a better man or a better woman, then maybe it's not the truth. If it's not giving you clarity as it pertains to your life purpose, then maybe you need to ask again, who am I? Who am I? What is my purpose? What is it that I've been called to do? And that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about your purpose. We're going to be talking about your dreams because your dreams matter. And you, my friend, you should never give up on your dreams. Because I never gave up on my dreams. I was a high school dropout. I had to go back to school and get my GED while in prison. Why? Because my dreams mattered. Yes, I was a high school dropout. I didn't like to read. And I went from a person who didn't like to read to an author who loved to read and loved to write and publish 3 books. Yes, I was a person where I went out in the streets and I did things. I sold drugs and I lived that type of life. I surrounded myself around people who were violent. Surrounded myself with people who were lost, who were confused, who was broken just like I was. People who didn't have hope like I was. But when God revealed to me who I was, when he let me know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, when he allowed me to know that, it's your story and you can rewrite it if you want to, things begin to change. I begin to see again. I begin to have a vision. Because the people who don't have vision is the people who perish. So God gave me vision. And the vision that God gave me, my friend, I want to share it with you. And that vision is simple. It's your story. And you can rewrite it if you want to. My message for you today, my friend, despite what you're going through, you might be dealing with an addiction, drug addiction. And I'm here to remind you, it's your story. And you can rewrite it if you want to. Some of you facing, some challenges with making some choices. And I'm here to remind you that it's your story and you can rewrite it if you want to. Some of you just getting released out of prison and you trying to get your footing. You trying to find your way, and it's hard because you've been gone a long time. And you're dealing with some emotional issues. You're dealing with some emotional challenges. But I'm here to remind you, my friend, that it's your story and you can rewrite it if you want to. Some of you dealing with some low self-esteem, and you dealing with some barriers because you don't have your education. You didn't get your GED. But I'm here to remind you that it's your story and you can rewrite it if you want to. I'm here to remind you that if you want to get your GED, if you want to go back to school and get your degree like I did, you can. Because it's your story. And you can rewrite it if you want to. You can change characters. You can switch roles because it's your story. You can change the trajectory of your life. You can change your whole narrative because it's your story. You, my friend, you can turn it around. You can turn it around. And there's tools that will help you to turn it around. And I thank God because success leaves clues. And for the last 15 years of my life, I've been chasing those clues. I've been chasing those clues, and I'm still chasing those clues. No, I'm not where I want to be. But I'm nowhere near where I used to be. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to establish some distance between where you used to be and where you're at now. And put me in, coach. We want to help you to rewrite your story so that you can change your narrative, so that you can change how your story unfolds and how your story ends, so you can change the person that you are. Could you imagine? At one point in my life, I was the underdog. At one point in my life, I was the one that was wreaking havoc. At one point in my life, I was the one that was taken out of the community and not giving back to the community. At one point in my life, I was one of those youth that was lost, wandering aimlessly, no purpose, no drive. I used to be that person. But now I have a beautiful home. Now I have my own organization. Now I have a beautiful family. Went back to school, got my degree. Wrote and published 3 books and still writing. Have an organization that specializes in personal, professional development, leadership training, adding value to people, making a difference, doing something that makes a difference. People are making a difference at a time that makes a difference. I'm rewriting my story. I'm changing characters. I'm switching roles. And that's why I'm here, my friend. That's why I'm here. I'm here as a resource. I'm here as a friend. I'm here as a coach to help you to get your footing, to help you to navigate through these stages and challenges of life. Because we all need help. We all need somebody that's going to encourage us, that's going to inspire us. Somebody that's going to push us and let us know that we can, we will, we shall, and we must. We need somebody that's going to come along and tap us on the shoulder and remind us that it's your story and you can rewrite it if you want to. We need somebody that's going to remind us that there's greatness in you and that you have unlimited potential. There's nothing that you can't do if you set your mind to it. There's nothing that you can accomplish when you set your mind to it. My last book, entitled Your Dreams Matter, 7 Things That Your Dream Needs from You. When I wrote that book, I was sick. I had been sick for 4 years, suffering from mental health disorders, suffering from anxiety disorders, migraine headaches, dizziness. 4 years of going to doctors, and there was no one who can tell me what was wrong with me. 4 years of not being able to hold a job. 4 years I was sick. 4 years, times where I wasn't able to get out the bed in the morning. 4 years of praying and fasting and praying to God, and it seemed as if my prayer was not answered. Yes, 4 years. 4 years of pressing. 4 years of hurting. 4 years of trying to figure it out. And I wrote that book while I was sick, because my dreams, it mattered. And I talk about 7 things that your dream need from you. Not 7 things that your dream wants from you, because we all know that there's a difference between wants and needs. So I talk about 7 things that your dream needs from you. And the first thing that I talk about in my book is commitment. And the importance of how, in order for you to live your dreams, you have to be committed to your commitment and not be committed to your feelings, because we know that our feelings change. And when I was sick, I didn't feel like writing. When I was sick, I didn't feel like going to school. When I was sick, I didn't feel like growing. I didn't feel like getting up and pursuing my dreams. I didn't feel like it. But despite how I felt, I realized that I was no longer committed to my feelings, because every time I committed myself to my feelings, there was things that I started that I didn't complete. So I learned not to be committed to my feelings and to be committed to my commitment. And I was committed to finishing what I started. And the moment I put the pen to the paper, the moment I said that I was going to do it, I was committed. When you say you're going to do something, that's where your commitment starts. I said I was going to write this book, so I started it. And I even talk about in the book, times where I was sick, times where I didn't feel like writing, times where I felt like giving up. But I kept on going. All because I was committed. And I want you to be committed. I want you to be intentional and deliberate about rewriting your story, about living your dreams, about doing the things that you know that you want to do that you're not doing because of fear, because of various barriers, that we're going to talk about, and how you can overcome those barriers. Yes, I want you to know that I appreciate you, because I understand the journey. And I'm going to be as transparent as possible. And some of the things I'm going to share with you, it's going to be tough, but it's going to be right. And it's going to help you to get through. It's going to help you to be strong and help you to be resilient and help you to bounce back in the face of adversity. Because we're going to have adversity. We're going to have challenges. Life is going to serve us lemonade, going to serve us lemons. And we're going to learn how to make lemonade out of lemons. We're going to learn how to take something that appeared to be bad and turn it around for the good. We're going to learn how to share our story and learn how to make a difference, doing something that makes a difference with people who are making a difference at a time that makes a difference. So I would like for y'all to tune in with me. I want y'all to share these videos. Take this information, play it over and over again, and allow it to be a blessing to you. I want to thank you. I want to thank you, yes. I want to thank you, because we're going to get through some things. We're going to overcome some things. And we, my friend, we're going to rewrite our story. Because our dreams, it does matter. Also, I would like for you to visit, my page, www.putmeincoaches.com. My page is going to give you some information that help you to grow emotionally, spiritually, mentally. That's going to help you to grow in the various areas and aspects of your life. Because we need resources. You need information. And I'm here, my friend, to be a resource. I'm here to help you, give you valuable information that's going to help you to become better. Because despite all that you've been through, your significance, it still remains. You, my friend, you are fearfully and you are wonderfully made. So I need you to encourage yourself today. I need you to pull yourself up by the bootstrap. And I need you to say, this I am today, but that I will be tomorrow. Great I will be tomorrow. Inspired I will be tomorrow. An entrepreneur I will be tomorrow. A graduate I will be tomorrow. Oh, it felt so good. It felt so good walking across the stage, graduating, with my degree. It felt so good. Because as one of my childhood friends reminded me, we're just some project kids. But look at us now. Growing up in the projects, growing up poor, struggling. But look at us now. Look at you now. Keep going. Your dreams matter. And when you're ready to go to that next level, all you have to do is click the link. All you have to do is go to our webpage. All you have to do is say, put me in, coach. Yes. And that's what put me in, coach means. It means that I'm ready. I'm tired of sitting on the sidelines. I'm tired of being a spectator when I should be a participator. I'm tired of watching the game when I should be in the game. Put me in, coach. Give me the tools that I need so that I can be my best self. Give me the tools that I need so I can finish this race strong. Remember, my friend, it's your story. And you can rewrite it if you want to. I want y'all to be great today. I want y'all to be inspired today. Remember, put me in, coach.